Welcome everyone. My name is Jamil Gavada. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a multiple regression machine learning model using Python's most popular libraries. We are going to be using Pandas, we're going to be using Numpy, and we are going to be using ScikitLearn to create this machine learning model. So let's begin our journey. First step to creating any machine learning model is to import the libraries. I'm going to be importing Pandas as PD. I'm going to be importing NumPy as NP. Okay, now that we imported the libraries, it's time to import the dataset. So I'm going to save that dataset into the variable df. Okay, we have imported the dataset. Let's print the dataset to make sure that this dataset was imported as expected. Let's run the code. Yep, the dataset was imported as expected. Perfect. Let's continue. Now that we imported a dataset, now we need to select the features of our machine learning model. So we're going to be selecting three independent variables. The independent variables are the explanatory variables. They are going to explain the dependent variable. The dependent variable is explained by the explanatory variables. So our independent variables that we are going to be selecting are engine size, cylinders, and fuel consumption combination. Those are going to be our independent variables or explanatory variables. And they're going to be attempting to explain the carbon dioxide emission. The carbon dioxide emission is our dependent variable. So let's do that. I'm going to be saving our features into the variable CDF. Yeah, I want to print this CDF just to make sure that all the data was actually imported or selected as expected. Yep, there it is. So far, so good. So let's have a quick summary. So far, we have imported the libraries, we have imported a data set, and we have selected our features. We have selected the engine size, cylinders, and fuel consumption combination as our independent variables or explanatory variables, and the carbon dioxide emission as our dependent variable. So let's continue. Now we need to randomize our data set. And you are probably wondering, why are we randomizing the data set? It is because we're going to be using this data set to do two things. One, to train our model, and two, to test our model, to evaluate our model. So we are going to be selecting about 80% of the data set to train our model and about 20% to test the model. So in order to eliminate any bias in the sequence of the data, we need to randomize the sequence. So we're going to be randomizing that data set, and then we're going to be doing our training and testing of that model using the randomized data set. So let's begin. Let's run this code to see if there's any errors. So far so good. This should. Let's see here. Okay, let's continue. So now that we have a randomizer data set, now that we have selected our features, now that we have imported the data set, now that we imported the libraries, it's time to create the multiple regression learning machine model. So I'm going to use ScikitLearn to do this. I'm going to train our data set. Yes. Engine size is one of our dependent variable. Cylinders is cylinders is our next independent variable, and fuel consumption combination is our third independent variable. And our dependent variable is our carbon dioxide emissions. That's it. And a regression fit model. Okay, so here's our model. Let me run the code to make sure there are no errors. It seems like there are no errors. So now let's print our coefficients and our intercept. Okay, let's print this. Let's run the code. Let's see what happens. There it is. Everything looks fine. We have our model here, coefficients, and we have our intercept. Excellent. So we have let's do a quick summary. So far, we have created we created the model, the multiple regression machine learning model. We have randomized the data set. We have selected our features. We have imported the data set, and we have imported the libraries. It's time to validate our model um, to see how good it fits the data. So let's do that. Okay, so that's going to actually evaluate our model. Now let me run this code to make sure there are no errors. Okay, so far so good, no errors. Now let's print our variation score. Let's see. Let's see, let's run the code. I'm still not. Let's run our code. Okay, perfect. So everything worked out perfectly. No problem with our code. So let's do a quick summary. So at the beginning, we imported the libraries. Then we imported the data set. Then we selected our features of our multiple regression machine learning model. Then we randomized a data set. Then we created the multiple regression machine learning model. Then we created our coefficient and our intersect of our model. Then we evaluated our model, and here are the results. So here's our model, and here's the variance score, 0.86. What does that mean, 0.86? It means that 86% of variance of the fuel of the carbon dioxide emission can be explained by the engine size, cylinders, and fuel consumption combination. So this means that this model is very good, meaning that something about 86% of the variation of the carbon dioxide emission can be explained by the explanatory variables. So that's what it means. It's actually a good model. So there it is. If you guys have any questions, concerns, just write your question below the comment section. I wish you all a very good day. Take care.